Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into Jordan B. Peterson's 12 Rules for Life, an antidote to chaos. It's certainly made some waves.
Yeah, and our focus today is really on extracting the core principles. It pulls from psychology, philosophy, religion, all sorts of things. The mission, to distill these 12 rules, see how they fit together as this kind of blueprint for, well, bringing order and maybe some meaning into life.
Exactly. And I think it's key to understand his terms right off the bat. Chaos and order. They're not just, mess and tidiness. Peterson frames them almost mythologically. Chaos is the unknown, potential, maybe danger. Order is structure, the known territory, the thing that protects us from that unknown.
Okay, so the rules are about how you stand on that line between them, like navigating.
Pretty much. It's not about pretending suffering doesn't exist. It's more about building a kind of responsible, meaningful way to live despite it, to handle that tension.
Right, let's dig into that blueprint then. Rule one,
Yeah.
it seems almost, well, basic. Stand up straight with your shoulders back. Yeah, but it's deeper than just posture advice.
Oh.
It's about how you signal things, not just to other people, but crucially to yourself. Standing tall signals competence, readiness, self-respect even.
And Peterson connects this to biology, doesn't he? That's a key part of his argument for our audience here.
Oh, absolutely. The lobster example.
Yeah.
It's kind of famous now.
Hmm.
He talks about how serotonin levels affect dominance in lobsters. The winners stand tall, get more serotonin, feel more confident. The losers slump. He's saying when you consciously adopt that upright posture, you're tapping into a really ancient feedback loop.
So you're kind of tricking your brain chemistry.
Or maybe activating it might be a better word. You're literally encouraging your brain to feel more capable. The lesson is really about facing reality head on, presenting yourself as ready, taking responsibility.
Okay, so once you've got that internal respect going with posture, rule 2 feels like the next step. Treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping.
Right. And this one hits home for a lot of people, I think. We're often really good at taking care of pets or friends or family,
Yeah.
making sure they take their medicine, follow advice.
But not ourselves.
Exactly. We neglect ourselves. This rule is basically saying, hey, you are also valuable. You deserve that same level of care, discipline, planning. Act like your own guardian. Your life's important. Treat it that way.
Which then naturally leads into who you surround yourself with. Rule 3, make friends with people who want the best for you.
Yeah, the social environment. It's critical. You need to actively, consciously choose who you spend time with. Avoid people who seem to enjoy it when you stumble or who just pull you down into their negativity.
Instead, find people who lift you up.
Find people who genuinely support your growth, who model competence, whose own lives are, aiming upward. If you decide you're worth helping, you owe it to yourself to be around people who agree.
Okay, so we've got posture, self-care, good company. Now let's shift inward. Rule 4 deals with how we measure ourselves. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today.
Oh, this one is so crucial, especially now, right? With social media everywhere.
Totally.
You're constantly seeing everyone else's highlight reel, their curated best moments. If you compare your messy, complex reality to that polished image, you'll always feel inadequate. It's a losing game.
So the focus should be internal progress.
Exactly. Just aim to be a little bit better today than you were yesterday. That 1% improvement idea, that's sustainable growth. That's progress you actually control.
And that internal focus seems really important before looking outward. Which brings us maybe slightly out of order to Rule 6. Set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. Why does this come before some of the other big ones, like truth?
That placement is really key to Peterson's whole framework, I think.
Yeah.
It's about locus of control. It's very easy to blame society or politics or, the system for our problem.
Projecting outward.
Right. Rule 6 says, hold on. Have you actually taken care of what's directly in front of you? Your room, your habits, your finances, your schedule. If you haven't mastered your immediate domain, how can you possibly diagnose or fix the world's problems?
So personal responsibility first. Get your own act together.
Yeah. Personal integrity has to come before you start issuing critiques about broader society. It grounds you.
And that discipline, that structure extends to family, too. Rule 5. Do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them. This one definitely gets people talking. It seems a bit harsh.
It does sound harsh, I agree. But the argument behind it is that setting boundaries is a form of love. It's difficult love, maybe.
How so?
Well, Peterson's point is that if you let your kids behave in ways that genuinely make you dislike them, chances are the rest of the world, teachers, peers, future employers, will dislike them too. And the world's rejection is much crueler than a parent setting clear limits.
So parents need to be guides, preparing them for reality, not just friends trying to avoid conflict.
That's the idea. Preparing them for a complex, often difficult world by teaching them socially acceptable behavior and the consequences of actions.
Okay, so with the personal house hopefully getting tidier, we look at direction. Rule 7, pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient.
Yeah.
What's the core difference there? It's not just hard versus easy, is it?
No, it's deeper than that.
Hmm.
Expediency is taking the easy way out now. It's avoiding necessary difficulty. Maybe telling a small lie to avoid conflict, chasing short-term pleasure.
And meaning.
Meaning, in this view, involves accepting responsibility, often involving sacrifice, for a higher goal. It's about voluntarily taking on burdens now for a better future. Think about studying hard instead of partying or telling an uncomfortable truth. It's aligning your actions with a deeper value, even when it's tough. It's choosing the path with, well, more weight to it.
And pursuing meaning seems impossible without honesty. Rule 8, tell the truth, or at least don't lie.
Yeah, and the at least don't lie part is interesting. It acknowledges how hard absolute truth can be sometimes. But the core idea is about the damage lies do, not just to others, but to you.
How does that work?
When you lie, you warp your own perception of reality. Your words, your internal map, starts to diverge from how things actually are. This creates confusion, anxiety, makes it harder to navigate the world effectively because your own model is flawed.
So truth aligns you with reality, even if it hurts short term.
Exactly. It builds clarity, integrity. It keeps your internal compass pointing true, so to speak. It's the foundation for accurately perceiving problems and solutions.
Which makes Rule 10 a very practical application of that. Be precise in your speech.
You think about it, vague language often masks things. Either we don't really understand the problem, or we're maybe afraid to confront it directly.
Like saying things are bad instead of, I'm unhappy because X, Y, and Z are happening.
Precisely. Being precise forces you to actually define the problem. What exactly is wrong? What exactly do you want? What exactly are the steps? Naming the chaos, defining it, is the first step toward controlling it. Clarity brings a sense of agency.
But to speak clearly and maybe even think clearly, you need good input. That seems to be Rule 9. Assume that the person you are listening to might know something you don't. The humility rule.
Yeah, intellectual humility. It's fundamental. If you go into every conversation just waiting to state your own opinion, you're not learning anything. You're just reinforcing what you already think.
So real listening is about being open.
It's about genuinely considering that the other person has a perspective, information, and insight that you lack. It's how you refine your own understanding of the world. You expose your ideas to challenge and either strengthen them or correct them. It's crucial for growth.
That need for challenge, for strength, really comes through in Rule 11, which sounds kind of odd at first. Do not bother children when they are skateboarding.
Right. It seems so specific. But it's not really about skateboarding per se.
It's symbolic.
Exactly. It's a critique of overprotection. When we shield children, especially boys maybe in this context, from every possible risk, every minor scrape or failure, they don't develop competence. They don't develop courage.
Because they never face anything difficult.
Yeah. They need to encounter challenges, take calculated risks, figure things out, even fail sometimes. That's how resilience is built. Constantly intervening teaches helplessness, not strength. It can even breed resentment down the line.
Okay, so that's about embracing necessary risk and challenge, which makes the final rule, Rule 12, quite poignant. Pet a cat when you encounter one on the street. It feels very different.
It really does. It's quiet, almost meditative, after all the demands for discipline and confronting chaos.
What's the symbolism there?
I think it's about acknowledging the inherent suffering in life, which the book does constantly,
Yeah.
but also finding moments of grace. The cat is this small, unexpected bit of beauty or simple comfort that just appears.
Right in the middle of everything else.
Yeah. It's permission to pause, to appreciate a small present joy even when life feels overwhelming or tragic. It's about noticing the good bits that exist alongside the hardship, a reminder that beauty persists. #tag outro. So if you put all 12 rules together, what you really get is this kind of framework for, well, maybe call it meaningful living in the face of suffering. The core message isn't about finding happiness or comfort. Not really. It's about finding meaning. And that comes through taking responsibility, being honest, having courage, and applying discipline. It's an active stance against the chaos.
And our goal here was to unpack that pathway, to show how these rules connect psychologically and philosophically. Hopefully, walking through them gives you, the listener, a clearer framework to think about applying these ideas, or at least understanding them better. So here's a final thought to maybe noodle on, connecting that intense self-discipline with that final moment of peace. How does doing the hard stuff, like actually cleaning your room when you don't want to, or pursuing what's meaningful even when it's difficult, how does that discipline maybe create the space, clarity needed to actually notice and appreciate that random cat on the street?
Yeah, think about that link. Does embracing the voluntary burden somehow make you more receptive to the unexpected grace? Something to consider. Thanks for diving deep with us today.